We often hear it said in Labour, we say ourselves about a certain situation or something. Have a go, mate. Have a go. Just have a crack at it. And that's possibly led us into many good things in our lives and steps in our lives that have been important. And I'll say in my life, I guess when I was a young fellow and I was at school and contemplating going to the seminary, I was sort of having doubts about whether I do this or not. And that came into my mind. Have a go. Just have a go. And throughout my life, it's led me to do many things that I had no idea I could do. In Papua New Guinea, where I was for 40 years, I ended up doing many things that I couldn't have imagined myself doing when I was younger. And good things. So much so that when I took this job as mission office, which was another thing, have a go, somebody said, "Oh, big job." I said, "That's all right, I've had big jobs before, just another big job." So you have a go, and that's what these two servants did. The master went and entrusted some of his property funds to them. And they wouldn't have been any run-of-the-mill servants, they would have already had proved themselves of people with ability and experience. And apparently from the commentaries I've read, this was not a small amount of money. It was a big amount. But they said, "I'll have a go. I'll accept this challenge and this call," and they did, and they were successful. And they were able to give back to the master more than he had given them. Except the last one, he was too scared, he didn't have a go. He buried the money and gave it back to him. So that's the challenge to us, and that's always the challenge of the mission office, is that we have a go. With what is entrusted to us, and those funds that you give us, those funds are entrusted to us to use wisely and to use properly. And I often say the mission office is like a pipe. It channels water. It doesn't really matter whether the pipe is a really smart looking pipe or a rusty old pipe. I often feel like I'm a rusty old pipe. We funnel the money. It's the funds. That's what we're here for. If we have no funds, then that's it, finished. It's all over. Have no funds, I'll lock the door and walk away. I'm sure I could find a job somewhere else. This year we've had our 25-year celebration. We celebrated in many ways. And one thing I've learned, two things I've learned over the course of this year. One is that the mission office is not just a few of us who work in the mission office. You are also a mission office. Your support, your funds, we are able to operate and do something. Without you, nothing happens. As I said, if the money stops coming in, I'll lock the door and walk away. There's nothing more to do. But even in this hard time, when our funding is down, COVID and now this economic difficulty we're all going through, inflation, etc., not as much as it was a few years ago, but there's still funds coming in. Thank you. And we're still able to do what we can do. Every meeting we have more applications than we have funding. That's probably fairly normal. But we keep doing what we can do. And people keep thanking us for that. Last year I was able to go to India, and my brothers over there took me to many places. I said to them when I went there, I said, "I'm not a tourist, I'm not here to see, touristy things, take me to where the projects are." So they did. We travelled hundreds and hundreds of kilometres. But we went out to some remote places, we went and a couple of those places, or a number of places, I was sort of met and greeted like I was some dignitary or something, like I was not Roger but Raja. it was a bit of a shock to me, but they were giving me an honour because of the water project. The women were dressed up in their best saris, and the men were dressed up, and they often put a shawl around my shoulders, etc. And thanked me like it was my money from my pocket that built the water tank or water well or something. I said, no, this is the people from Australia, the Catholic people from Australia give us these funds. So they come back and say, thank the people of Australia for our water. So thank you from those people. And that wasn't just an isolated incident. It was pretty common. I was so grateful for it. Now the other thing I learned this year is on the banner there. That's a new banner we created after this year. Right in front of me here, go into the whole world and proclaim the good news. That's what Jesus told us to do. And to me, that's what the mission office is about. That's what all of us are about. We're all on mission, but that's what the mission office is about. And what we do is good news to people. When we give people fresh, clean water, that's good news in many ways. When we give young people a chance of education or training, that's good news. When we give people health and the possibility of medicine and facilities, that's good news. When we give the gift of a clean environment, that's good news. And when we give support to missions so that priests can move and go out to their people and do their ministry, that's good news. And when we help fund the education and training of young priests, it will go out to the people in remote communities. That's good news. And your support of us is your way of sharing in that good news, sharing of the good news. Very practical, down-to-earth way of sharing the good news, not just words. And we are all called to that. See, what we do here on Sunday, this is not what it's all about. This is like going into the dining room and having a meal. You don't sit in the dining room eating all day. The meal is to give you nourishment and go and do. That's what this is about. The Eucharist, the liturgy, the ritual. It's about nourishing your life. So go out and proclaim the good news. That's what it's all about. And if you don't go out from here with a desire to some way share the good news, then you shouldn't go. We take out from here what the Lord tells us to do. Now, sharing the good news, being on mission, you'll be out on the street, around the corner, with your family, in your workplace, anywhere. Because you live and breathe the good news. You live and breathe the person of Jesus Christ. That's the mission. That's what we're about. And the mission office, that's what we do for other people through our practical projects. If I go and visit these places, or Sean, sitting there in the front seat, we don't go there to preach and tell them what to do. We go there to see that the work that they're doing and that you have funded, to see those works, inspect them if you like. And with that, to check that the monies have been spent correctly, because that's our responsibility. That's part of the challenge. So again, Randwick has always been one of our great supporters, and I hope we can do the same again this year. But without your support, as I said before, it doesn't happen. Our overheads are very, very small compared to other funding organisations. We're 10% or 8% or less. Some other organisations are like 20-25% on administration. We're very, very low. So, anybody, wherever you send the money you want it to go, that's where it will go. So water, it goes. Health, it goes. And we do the best that we can to do that. Maybe one or two stories to finish. we help support a place called Australia Training Centre, which trains young men in trade training, all different trades, and that gives them a chance to get skills and qualifications. They can go and get a job. Well, many of them eventually go on to make their own small business, whatever their trade is. So that gives them a hand up so they can stand on their own 2 feet. They can support their families. They can eventually have their own family. And they have something. Another project which is a bit very challenging in Papua New Guinea, in a place down on the coast on the Papuan side, on the south side. It's a big group of people. It's called the Wekio. A lot of it's sort of a floodplain, and traditionally the people, for their water supply, they would dig a well, not too far down to the groundwater, and they would have a well and they get their water out. But some 21 years ago, up in the mountains in the same area, there was a gold mine opened. And the requirement was that the tailings dam, or the tailings or the waste from the mine would go into with the chemicals. Well, I think they bypassed that somehow, probably by paying off someone in the government. And it didn't happen, so all the waste goes into the water, goes into the big river, and it goes into the groundwater. So the groundwater is polluted. Cyanide and mercury and all kinds of stuff. And so the people are sick, and the people die. And people who pursue this and try to get proper testing done of the water, I'm still chasing to try and find out any results from that. I can't locate where the results might be. One of our sisters is over at Kensington, which is retired. She was at the time running a nursing school there and near the hospital. So she saw these sick people and dying people come in. And she tried to get testing done. I don't know if we got any results of the testing or what. More recently, there was a man that I've contacted this year, a water expert, and he said, well, testing the water and getting the right results, whatever those chemicals are, and finding a solution is not simple. I thought we might be able to just run it through a reverse osmosis water purification system or something. He said it's probably not as simple as that. And he said probably the best option is to get water tanks, which is what they're applying for at a school there. So what I'm saying is, it's a complex problem, and a solution would be a complex solution. And they're the challenges that we face, and we're going to have to try and pursue that. So there's a couple of stories of what happens with the funding that comes into us, and our challenge and our responsibility is to administer those funds as best we can. We have to share that across different types of projects, different countries that are applying. So we work in 10 or 15 countries from Africa right through the Pacific. So we'll try to share it out according to the applications and what we have. Now, practically, we have in the seats the newsletter. For some reason, different problem with numbers, we have extras this year, so they're all in the seats. You can take one, or two, or three, take them and give them to your friends. If you haven't got your friends, give them to your enemies. We've got, as usual, all kinds of stories and things in there. And in the middle is the, what I call the magic envelope. It goes out empty and often comes back full. So we have that miracle keeps happening. So we've got that. The calendar is down the back next year. And again, we're putting all the readings, as we have done the last couple of years, and pictures and prayers and all kinds of things might inspire you for the year. So they're doing that. Then they make a good Christmas present also. And I know people who write in and say, oh, where's my calendar? I like the calendar. And one lady wrote in and said, I share the readings every morning on Facebook. And I've got friends who go on my Facebook and get the readings so that they can use them. So there you go, that's a spin-off. So that's there. We've got Parish, you won't see it in the Randwick Parish around. It's orange, it's recycled plastic and cardboard, and we've got boxes and boxes of them out there. You take a whole box if you like, give away everyone you meet over Christmas, give them a Parish. I love it. I know I worked at school recently down in Canberra, and I gave them all the kids, and they just go, it clicks like that, and I love it. I suppose kids now are on instrument, apps and things all the time, so they don't get the click of Parish. So I was thinking, man, I said, kid, I'll be driving the teacher's nuts. One of the teachers looked at me and said, stop it. So take a wire out 2 or 3, and then you take a whole box if you want it. One of the books, we still have a couple there, is a little one that's got my name on it. It's a parish I was in, and one of the sisters that's on the front cover there, Sister Ruth, who works in the parish here, and Bishop Debs Ward, who was father-in-law at the time, and Sister Ruth gave me some materials which I put there, and at the end of it I wrote a little bit about my time in that parish, so it's a little story of a parish, a mission station, and hopefully it's interesting to read. And one other thing before I finish, we have on the game, you won't see from it, a little medallion, 25-year medallion, I've got the 25-year logo on one side, and on the other side, a picture of Father Chevalier, or the young Father Chevalier, and the older Father Chevalier. So they're a special fundraiser for us. They're $100, but you get a free cap with it. So if you want that, they're down the back there too. So all of that, just to say again, we thank you for your support. We thank you for being part of us, part of the Mission Office. And we ask again that you be generous, take the courage, say, I'll have a go. On what I've been given, I will make something of it, and I'll be able to give back. So our Master, the Lord, Jesus, God, has given us so much. We have so much more than many other people have. And to do something to give back is what the challenge is and the core. Let's take a moment now in silence. We'll just sit in silence for a minute or so and just think what God is telling us today.